Howdy guys, how's it going? So today we are going to be looking at this year's hunting, scouting loadout because I have got a new setup and some new gear that I'm trying out this year, and I'm out today for the first time just kind of wearing this scouting loadout around and doing some scouting. Things in this kit will be very subject to change depending on what exactly my goal is for each time that I go out and the exact area that I'll be going out to. Also, this week should be one of the last warm weeks that we have here, because normally I intend this here belt kit and butt pack setup to be combined with a smock. But today I'm just wearing this Fire Force Ventures German Splinter Tarn camo combat shirt because it's still really nice because the front and back breeze, and that's the #1 advantage for me to this type of carrying system is it still allows your upper body to get just plenty of airflow, and all the weight is distributed, you know, on your hips and onto your legs, but it's still really stable. This is the Nixie Works Lightfighter rig. Some of you guys are probably familiar with it. This is my first day actually going out and, you know, hiking in just uncut terrain. The only trails I'm following are deer trails. And that's another thing about this shirt is still having these sleeves. Like, I would prefer to be wearing a t-shirt right now, but I'm still cutting through where there's a lot of just briars and just really thick brush. So this nice thick material makes it really easy to kind of cut through, and you don't have to really worry about snagging, or if you have a lighter weight material like the front and back of this is made of, it just helps protect everything. So works out very well. For anybody that's curious, this is the Bear Creek Arsenal 22 rifle, just bringing it out to carry. Just because we'll be carrying a rifle most of the time anyways during hunting season, so just good to get back into the feel and the motion of carrying a hunting style rifle with you. And this one does have, it's got some solid heft to it. Also been an issue with rabid raccoons around in my county, so it's good to have this, and obviously I always got Glock 17 on me. And then breaking in a new pair of boots. I'll show them. This is I've never had a pair of Under Armour boots like this. I got these from combatfootwear.com. So far, they've been really comfortable, and you get a lot of good feedback from the ground, even though they still have a pretty thick sole on them, which I like. But you know what, that's enough rambling. Let's take and get this rig off, and I'll show you guys what's inside. Oh. So yeah, you have tons of mobility with this setup as a whole. Alright, so the Nixie Works Lightfighter rig, its main shtick is the Lightfighter pack, which is this large butt pack here with these two side pockets on it for canteens, or you can roll up rain gear, pretty much whatever you want to stick in those. And then this is also their belt and harness system, including their general purpose pouches, and then these two on the ends here are their 3 AR style mag pouches. When I first got it, I was very pleased with the overall build quality. Like, everything about this seems to just feel bomb proof, and you know, we'll see how it does over the upcoming months. The only thing that I did want to mention as far as a critique goes, just before I forget about it, would be the side what is primarily meant to be your canteen pockets. Just because I do wish that they extended a little bit further up, because they do come up short on your waist pack. And whenever you have this thing fully packed out, it's not that big of a deal. But if you want to use larger bottles, or especially round bottles, this right here, this elasticated part that you can cinch down onto your canteen, it just kind of tends to hang low, and that you know, that's not a huge deal, but just something to mention. If you're planning on using just regular style canteens, that's going to be your best bet. And then if you wanted to carry more water on this setup, you can actually fit 2 1-liter canteens on both sides. You would just have to take and run some other type of retention system to go around the top, but you can fit larger canteens in this setup, or 2 like this side by side. There we go. You just have to play around with the fit, but you could, you know, you could do that if you wanted to carry upwards of 4 liters of water with you. But you can just see, since I opened up that elastic there, kind of how big and spacious that pocket is. Like, if you did want to roll up a hard shell rain jacket or something to put in there. So right now, in terms of canteens, on this side I have my Vault Can Titanium 1.1 liter canteen. That black electrical tape that is around that groove right there where the nesting cup normally seats up on, I put on there because it does make it smoother once you have that elastic drawstring pulled. Whenever you're reaching back to put this in or take it out, that little bit of electrical tape helps keep it from snagging as badly whenever you're trying to seat it back down into the pocket. On this side, just a standard surplus canteen with an aluminum canteen cup. I'm actually probably going to take and run the canteen cup on both sides because it does, I found today that it does make it easier to get your bottle in and out. So even if you're not going to use the other cup, these things really don't weigh that much. And this other one for this canteen is titanium, so it doesn't really make a huge weight difference. But this is in there primarily for coffee as far as the scouting kit goes. We've got plenty of other water purification methods. Also, our backup food option in here is requires boiling water unless you want to cold soak it. But we got our cup there, and we will take these out. At first, when I first seen this online, something I kind of thought too is like, well, once you have these pockets filled and everything else is relatively filled, you know, is it going to be hard or feel like everything is pressed up together and restricted? And that is not the case, I'm glad to say. But we will take these two out and set them to the side just so that you can see things a bit better and we can move around. So now, even though this is a butt pack style setup, you have plenty of extra length of your webbing straps here on your top lid and here on the bottom to put different types of items on the bottom of the butt pack and underneath your top lid. So now underneath, I've seen a lot of pictures of people running the full-sized Z-fold mats or just the smaller Z-fold sit pads on the bottom of this, which is great. Now what I've opted for is this Outdoor Vitals closed cell foam pad. So it's for the same intended purpose, but this thing right here can just be folded and manipulated into pretty much any size or shape that you need it to be, but it's still about a full body length. I think this thing might be like, I'm 5'10", and I think this thing, when I laid on it, might have just like an inch underneath my size length, which is fine. But this can make a great emergency little bit of insulation to lay on the ground. Like, this is really popular with ultralight backpackers. I mean, I feel like pretty much that's one of the only circles I've currently seen this really used, at least on YouTube. But Outdoor Vitals makes some really high quality gear, so I'm looking forward to testing this. But my thought process behind this is, if you need to have a sit pad, like whenever I'm sitting and watching an area for deer, then this gives me a little bit of insulation once it gets a bit colder. If I needed to make a bed, we could still take and lay down plenty of debris and stuff, and this would give us a waterproof barrier, a little bit of insulation, and a little bit more comfort. So went with that. And then as far as all of the extra storage space that you have underneath your lid here, because like this has a snow skirt at the top where you can expand the capacity of the butt pack. Everything that's in this butt pack right now, I could compress a lot more. I just want it to fill up the space so that the canteen's rode better. But what I'll probably be doing, especially early on, as we're transitioning into the colder months, when I'm hiking, I'll probably have my smock wadded up and stored underneath the lid, or if there's any special specific gear for the thing that I'm going out to do, that specific scouting trip, I can take and roll up and, you know, put under here, or even add it underneath the pack. But we'll get into the main pack in a second. Let's take and start touching on our pouches. Okay, so this right here is what is on my left side whenever I am wearing the kit. This is designed to be a 3 AR magazine mag pouch. But since I'm not wearing my gloves dangling off my hip like I normally do, and, you know, I also don't have my holster, which is why I'm wearing that Falco leg holster. I've got my leather gloves here. Again, going through these thick sets of briars and magnolia tree bushes and just all this undergrowth. Being able to throw on a nice pair of leather gloves and just manhandle everything is a must. In here, I just have a spare 17-round magazine for my Glock 17. Now, getting into the scouting aspect, the whole point of this is to scout for deer and other animals for hunting season. So we're going to be going to spots, and like right now we're in really thick woodland area, and you know, if something's at a distance away, you're not going to be having a line of sight for probably more, like 100 yards is pretty rare. Everything's within that range. But when you're trying to make out something through thick brush, you do need some magnification even at shorter distances. So this is my Maven binocular. This is the CM1 8x32. Fantastic binocular. I've been using this thing for a couple of years now. I don't really find any reason for my area environment to need a set of binoculars, at least not at the moment. And again, like, I'm keeping that stuff up front because if I am just moving, I can quickly reach in, pull it out, and utilize it. And I do plan on carrying this rig some when I'm actually going out to the locations I'm going to be hunting, and some of this stuff will stay, some stuff will get taken out. And then also, as part of what I'm doing is I'm seeing if there's going to be any spots where I want to take and build a natural ground blind. So for that, I have a little handsaw. This is a Blackfire handsaw. I'm not really sure if you can still get these. It is a bit heavy as far as a pocket handsaw like this goes. But one thing that I really like about it, one, it is really sharp. But two, it has two different locking angles on it. So if you're trying to work in and around just tight areas, just having that angle option can be really nice. And then you have your standard locking option. And for building a ground blind, I am not going to be cutting anything any diameter of wood that this little handsaw couldn't handle. And it fits perfectly inside of this kit. But there we go, that is our front left. Now going into this general purpose pouch on our left side. This is a pretty catch-all pouch. So right here on the back side, I have my Brissa Trapper knife. Again, all the things that you would typically use a knife for. But also, whenever I'm going into some new areas that are a bit further distance, or that I'm just not familiar with, I'll even take and pull this out and use it to mark some trees, to mark my trail, so it's easier and quicker to come back, especially in low light. And this was another perfect size knife, and with that smooth leather sheath, it just slides down in there nice and easy. On the back side, I have my Zoleo satellite communicator. If there is areas where there is no cell service, and this is primarily to use in the event that I get gravely injured and I don't have cell service. Also, it's a way for them to pinpoint your location, so would not be out there. Like, I don't like nowadays, because the technology's there, it's so affordable, especially when you consider the implications of if something goes wrong and you don't have it. I don't really think there's no reason not to have one of these. You do have to do the monthly subscription plan, but you know, if you're only going to be using it for a month or two out of the year during hunting season, I think that's definitely worth having. So that's easy to get to. Right here, I have a Tough Possum gear pouch with a bunch of little doodads in it. Here on the outside, I have a Sun Company thermometer. I like to have that just because it'll give you a reading of the temperatures you're in, so you can better evaluate what to have on. And going into the pouch, got a thing of electrical tape, got a good number of banana bag electrolyte drinks. I'm going to have one of these as soon as I get done recording this video. Got Aquatab water purification tablets. The streams around here are extremely clear and clean. I really wouldn't mind just drinking directly from them, but these are just nice using canteens like this because I can fill them up, drop one of these in there, and then just keep walking, and within 30 minutes I'm good to drink. Got my Sharpal knife sharpener, just a great way if I need to hone the edge of my blade. Like anytime I go out, I make sure they're sharp before I'm out, but you just never know. Got a little homemade wrap of black Gorilla Tape. Titan Survival emergency whistle, extremely loud. This is a new little upgraded piece of gear that I've been really impressed by so far. This is Nightcore NB Plus. This is a waterproof power bank, 10,000 milliamperes, but it is the slimmest and lightest one of these power banks that I have found and definitely used up to this point in time. And then I've got a really nice quick charging cable, USB-C to USB-C, my phone, my headlamp, and everything is USB-C. Actually, I think the only thing that isn't is the Zoleo, but I always make sure it's fully charged. It's micro USB, so I do need to put a micro USB in this kit. But yeah, that Nitecore little power bank right there is really impressive for the size, and it's waterproof, so you just don't got to really stress about it as much. Not really as important this time of year, but I got some after bite relief and kind of like sting relief ointment. There are still bees around, so not bad to have. I have another whistle in here just by happenstance. I've got some Wild Fit energy shots. It's like a dry powder. It's like a pixie stick energy shot. Just if you're getting a little weary, if you decide to stay in the dark looking for animals. Here is a field notes pad that I have been carrying and using, and it's like it is falling apart, but it doesn't have many pages left in it, so I'll need to change that out at some point. And then I've got a pen, so that is everything in the Tough Possum Gear pouch. Then continuing on, I am running with my Phoenix headlamp. I really like this one. I like to run a larger battery headlamp just so I never have to worry about it. I always make sure it's charged. But if something just god-awful happened and you're out there for an extended period of time, you know, having a headlamp is just really nice. Plus, I could even charge this if I needed to. But this thing right here will go for, you know, 24 hours or so on low light. It's also got red light, which is really nice if you're just needing to do something right around where you're at, but you're still wanting to kind of stay and look for creatures. And then finally, this is actually another little Nixie Works bag, but this is just my cordage kit. I've just got a longer piece of paracord, 2 shorter length pieces. Like the shorter length pieces are probably somewhere between 10 and 15, with the larger piece being probably about 20 to 25. Then I've got a thing of jute twine. One thing of cordage that I do not have in this rig today or on this is I will be taking out a full roll of jute twine with me whenever I'm going out with the high likelihood of building a blind. Like today, I had no desire to do that because it's still just too warm to be screwing around with that. But I will be putting that in probably the butt pack. Because it wouldn't really fit in these other ones. But the jute twine's great because for the size of everything it should be doing, it holds up great. It's natural fiber. It blends in, and that's my go-to. Most of the time you can build ground blinds without using any cordage. Easy enough. But it's just nice to have that option, and you can actually just make them a lot more secure, and you can even like take smaller pieces and tie foliage and things to them and around them, like smaller pieces of foliage that'll die naturally, and then it blends in very well that way. But yeah, that's everything that is in that pouch. So again, now going over to the right side of what's in these pouches, the front magazine pouch. First thing is I have this Go rangefinder. This is actually a really like budget-friendly rangefinder. I think this thing runs for like $40 or $42, and I've been using this one for the past 2 years. I use it down at my shooting spot, like with the shooting channel, which also, if you didn't know, just relaunched ProCaliber shooting, so I'll make sure to link to that channel. The hunting rifle I'll be that's on the way right now that I plan on using this year. I'll be doing the video on it as soon as I get it for the initial impressions. So yeah, go check that out. But this rangefinder works very well. I do have my compass in this pouch. Where like all the land and area that I'm going, even the areas I've not like necessarily been to, I know the layout of the land. We're not talking about 20 square miles that I'm going to be in, so it's like even in low light, just having a compass and knowing my general directions, perfectly fine. So that's why I don't have just like a full-blown map in this kit. Plus I do have the GPS on my phone. And then the final thing that is in that pocket, there's only 3 items in it, is this little night vision binocular. This is a GT Media N1. You know, this is not a super high-end binocular. I don't quite remember the price. I think it's like right at $100, like right around there. And, you know, it can record and take pictures, but I'm primarily looking for signs of animals and, you know, setting up blinds and stuff like that. But if I want to sit and, like, just observe an area and, you know, just see if anything comes through after the sun goes down, this is really nice. It does work just fine. And, yeah, that's why I included it in here. It's like no reason not to, because it's really lightweight. But that is everything that is in that pouch right there. And I do intend to upgrade to a better quality night vision binocular or thermal binocular at some point. I don't know if I'll do it this season because it's really not a priority, but that is something on the agenda. Then to this general purpose pouch. This one's extremely important because it is the I'm leaking and I don't want to be pouch. So opening that up, we have our IFAK, which is just ready to pull out and use. This is the Sunshine Safety First Aid IFAK. Absolutely, this thing is extremely high quality. We've got a cat tourniquet here on the outside, and this thing is really quick and easy to use. You just take and pull this, everything pulls out. It's really nice and organized. You know, I still keep my medical stuff in my cargo pocket. I keep an Israeli bandage, quick clot, extra gauze. But this has your chest seals. It has quick clot in it as well. You got your Z-fold gauze. It's got a small emergency blanket, your pen. It's got shears. You know, everything you need. And I'll also take and have an additional tourniquet in my smock. Or depending on the type of pants that I'm wearing, I'll put one in my, I'll have one in my pants. That's easy to get to. Just like I said, it depends. Like certain things will change depending on weather and the area I'm going, because I want to wear a different, potentially wear a different camouflage and stuff. But my Arctis mountain smock is really one of my go-tos, just because of all the pocket stuff. But anyways, now right in front of our IFAK, I do have my HydroPack water filter and 1 liter bag. So again, this is just my secondary option for filtering water. Like if the water is murky, you know, I'll use this if there's a bit more sediment in it, just to clear it up. But in these mountainous areas, you know, I do prefer to go with the AquaTab option. Now, the final thing in this pouch was this Hiker Medic. Now, I have opened this one, and I removed probably 25 to 30% of the stuff that was in this, because there was just things that was just unnecessary. And then I added in some of my own things, like this variety pack of Super Skins. This is also by My Medic, and I got this in one of those Medic boxes. So I got like a pack of 30 of these individual packs, even though there is one thing of my skin in here, but these are great for blisters. And since I'm breaking in new boots, you know, it's a really good idea to have that stuff with you. And even though there was a couple of medical things, like medication things in this, I added in my own thing of antihistamines. Right here's a thing of Benadryl and hydroxyzine. And then I added in anti-diarrhea tablets. I don't really screw with Tylenol, but this is 2 Tylenol PMs. And then a decent number of 800 milligram ibuprofen. So, and then also threw in some extra water purification tablets. Everything else that's in this is just what comes in the My Medic thing. So, you know, you could just look this up and see what's in there. But there's like sting relief, you know, just Band-Aids, antibiotic ointment, all the stuff for your little minor inconveniences. I believe this might also even come with like a little thing of duct tape and stuff in it, but I took all that larger stuff out, like the larger gauze pads and everything, since I already have compressed gauze and stuff with me. So that just fits really small. And that little pouch is waterproof. Like, it seals really well. But that is everything in that pouch, so I'll put that away and we will look at what is in the main butt pack. Now, the main butt pack, this is for sure one of the areas where things will get changed around. So pulling this up so you can really see the height of that snow skirt right there, to where you could have additional gear packed in all the way up there and still seal this just fine. You ain't got to worry about stuff falling out. Okay, so now right here, wrapped in a shemagh. The shemagh may come, stay, or go. I might have different types of camouflage netting or something that I put in here. The main purpose of the shemagh right now is to wrap up this stove. This is that Hot Devil stove with the built-in igniter. I brought this out today because I want to make a cup of coffee. So right alongside it, I have a canister of the fuel for it. I have smaller gas stoves, but this one's just quick, easy. It's got a wide top on it, so just threw that one in there. And then, like I said, clearly we have the Shemagh, which 1,001 uses. So one of the coolest new pieces of gear that I'm extremely excited about for this bushcraft camping and hunting season is this bad boy right here. So this is the Yervin, I believe it's Feldukin, maybe, that part I don't know. This is the Yervin survival bag, tarp, poncho. It does it all. I'm not going to be pulling this whole thing out right here, right now. This comes from betterbushcraft.com. This is a Norwegian product. Like, these are very uncommon within the United States, but an extremely high quality piece of gear. And these things have been tried and tested, and we are going to be doing some fun shelters and things with this upcoming season. But one thing to note, it comes with, we will take this out, it does come with a orange signal panel with a reflective strip down the middle. So if you're wondering, like right now it's not hunting season, like it's small game hunting season, but there's it's not deer season or anything, so that's why I'm not wearing any orange. You could use it for emergencies, but you could also take and flag, you know, up above where you're sitting. I'm primarily on private land, but it does border public lands and stuff like that, so sometimes it's a good idea to mark your position. You know, just very, very case specific there. I think it's really cool that they include that in this, because this is a item that is, you know, you can use it just as like a very frequent camping bushcraft type of deal, but I guess at its core, it's kind of meant and designed to be a little bit more of a survival type of item. It's just cool to know that you have that already on there and integrated into the pouch and carrying system, because it has a reflective interior, and then this particular one is this woodland camo that you see the pouch made out of. It's got grommets, it's got zippers so that you can zip this up. Like, I'm really looking forward to showing you guys this thing in more detail and doing some overnighters and stuff with that. So that right there is our rain gear. That is part of our emergency shelter system. And you could use it for concealment, but primarily rain gear and shelter system. Okay, right here underneath that, this is some combat wipes, biodegradable. If you got to go number 2, these are fantastic, but also a good way to wipe your face off. And these are good to carry, you know, if you're cleaning out game, you have a way to clean your hands afterward. And biodegradable, you can bury them, and it's not that big of a deal. Off to the right here, this is a little titanium canister. This one is a vault canister, and in this I've got instant coffee. That is just for kind of today specific. And then something that's just meant to be more of a emergency food item is I do have a freeze-dried ReadyWise Pro meal. This particular one is the pasta alla vodka. Extremely tasty. Because just like today, I took and ate right before I left. That's why you didn't see any snacks or anything in the front pocket. Sometimes, especially when I'm wearing a smock, I'll throw a protein bar or something like that. There's still plenty of room to put something like that in this. But that, to me, that's not really a huge primary focus. But we do have plenty of calories and food there. Something that is kind of important for now is if I want to stay later, it's not getting that cold in the evenings, but this is the Arctis stowaway shirt. It's a full-size quarter zip hoodie. Can repel some light rain, but its main job is to be a windbreaker, and it does just kind of help hold in body heat. And again, just packs down like the size of a baseball. It's in one of my favorite camos, Greek Lizard. That's in there. One small thing that's in here, this is my fire kit that is 99.9% of the time in my right cargo pocket. However, because I'm wearing, you know, this Falco leg holster, obviously I can't have anything comfortably in my cargo pocket. But it's been a while since I've showed this. It's an extremely basic fire kit. I just have this really beefy Titan Survival ferro rod. I've got a collapsible bellow. I've got a thing of these fire plugs. There's 2, 4, 5, 6. There's 6 in there right now. I have used a couple out of that, so I need to fill that back up. I like to have about 10 of those. And then I have this little waterproof tin a very fibrous wax impregnated tinder, so that can catch really easily. And then I always have a lighter on my person. You know, I'm very proficient and confident in my fire building skills regardless of what the weather conditions are. Some things that I get thrown in my kit, sometimes I have storm matches, sometimes I have other things, and you know, my fire kit is something that I can adapt and change per what I'm going out to do. But this right here is my constant, like, EDC fire kit. Then the final thing in here, which is going to be the pretty much constant thing that I will be carrying in here for my insulation layer. This is the JJ's Rapture jacket. I only had a chance to use this one night so far this season when it wasn't even that cold, but this thing is extremely warm, and it's also something that can compress down super small. It's got the Climate Shield Combat insulation, which to my understanding is a relatively new synthetic insulation, but it, you know, holds its heat retention and everything when wet, but it has one of the best weight to insulation and size compared to everything else. It is just a really, really nice insulated jacket. So that combined with the smock, I've not got to really test it out yet, but I think with my personal cold tolerance, I'm well good down to probably about 40 degrees, no problem with this and a smock. So that is everything that is in our kit. So I will get this packed back up and we will close things out. Alrighty guys, so that is going to do it for this one. But that is our light fighter scouting setup that I'm going to be using over the upcoming week. Still going to be heading out and doing some overnighters and stuff. I've just been getting over a sinus and double ear infection, which has been god awful. So got just a wee bit behind on content, but we're going to be hitting her hard, and really looking forward to this winter season, this hunting season, and hopefully it's a good time. So going to do it for this one. Make sure to hit the thumbs up button, subscribe if you're not already, share the channel videos with your friends, family, anybody that enjoys good old outdoor activities and gear. Hit me up in the comment sections what you think of this setup, if you have any experience with any of this gear, this rig, what your plans are for the upcoming seasons. Again, check out the shooting channel that I just relaunched, ProCaliber Shooting. We'll link to it down in the video description. I will try to link to everything that I showed you in this video in case you guys want to check it out for yourself, but that's going to do it for this one. So until the next one, adios.